I assume you have grinded tape on some top quarterback prospects. I've seen your QB Confidential videos that you've been tweeting out there from your Twitter account. So which one jumps out at you? Which one do you believe is the best prospect? I'm not talking about right now. I'm talking about you think has the best shot at a long and successful career in the NFL, Kurt Warner.
Yeah, you know, there's so many different ways to look at it, Rich, with each of these guys. And one of the things I try to do when I break down the tape is look at the positives and then look at, you know, what you might say the negatives or the things that they need to work on. And, you know, I think we've all heard it with all of these guys is, you know, this class, I don't know if it's a stellar class with what they've done or coming in and you say, oh, man, surefire guys here and there. I think all of them have pluses and, you know, all have things that they're going to have to work on at the next level. And so, you know, a lot of it really does depend on how you look at it. You know me, I'm always looking at it from the standpoint of playing the position and understanding what you're seeing and being accurate with the football and making those kind of plays. A lot of people will look at the athleticism part of it because we see so many guys in the league that, you know, are playing the position more athletically now than ever before. And so I look at it and I say Kenny Pickett, to me, based on what he did last year, seems to be the most complete you know, quarterback at this particular time. And so, you know, if I'm staking my claim on one of these guys, I'd probably stake it right there. Solid. He's a guy that does a lot of good things with his feet, buys time, makes plays, accurate, had a great year, as we all know, at Pitt. Malik Willis, I know, intrigues a lot of people, and you can watch the film, and there's some things that jump off the tape at you that would excite you. But I think there's also some things that he's got to work on to become a complete quarterback. So, you know, depending on what you're looking at from that position, I'm going to lean towards Kenny Pickett just because of how I like to see the position. You know, but there's a lot of upside for Malik Willis.
Okay, so Pickett, you're talking the processing where he sees and he understands and he knows, and you see that on tape, and then you also see the results. Is that
Exactly.
the difference maker?
The feel inside the pocket of what you're seeing, being able to go through your progressions, understanding how to make different kinds of throws. You know, that's one thing. We get so enamored by the physical aspects. You know, we see these pro days and these guys that make these 60-yard throws, fall into their left, and everybody's like, ooh, wow, awesome. And, you know, when I watch pro days or when I watch the combine, I watch to see if quarterbacks understand how to make the different kinds of throws, which throws need to have touch on them, which throws need to be driven a little bit more. You know, do you have the ability to make a certain throw different ways? And so that to me is about, you know, quarterback intelligence and, you know, understanding, what you need to do, because if I'm making this throw, I'm only throwing it if this happens. So I make this kind of throw. The footwork ties into all that stuff. So I just, when I broke down the tape, I just thought the most complete player when you put all of those things together was Kenny Pickett.
All right, so now let's play the What Would You Do Kurt Warner game right here. And I know that might make you a little uncomfortable, but I'm going to do it anyway because we're on live radio and television, and I'm putting you on the spot. You're the Panthers, 6th overall. You don't have another selection until the 4th round. You've got Sam Darnold in the fold. You're also a coach who is got an owner who might have an itchy finger, certainly after you are now in year 3, year 4 of your tenure. Do you pull the trigger on Kenny Pickett, 6th overall, if you're the Carolina Panthers? Does it work? Is it a fit?
I do. Well, just because I believe, Sam Darnold, and again, you can probably compare who Sam Darnold was coming out or even some of the things that he's shown us in the NFL, and you may be able to make an argument, just, apples to apples looking at tape. Oh, Sam Darnold's just as good as Kenny Pickett or maybe a little bit better at some of the things that he's done. But it hasn't worked. And that, to me, is the key, is that you can look at a lot of things, but the bottom line is you had him there and it didn't work. And, he never got over the hump like you thought. And we talk about it every week on our show, Rich, is that this is the quarterback-driven league. You got to have that guy. And it's not always just, when I watch tape, the arm's stronger or the accuracy's there. You're trying to find a great leader. You're trying to find a guy that people can rally around, believe in, and when you step on the field every Sunday, they believe you have a chance to win. And if you don't have one of those guys, you better get one of those guys. Or nothing else really matters to me. Just because of the way the game is played. And so it just hasn't worked for them with Sam Darnold. That I do believe, whether it's Kenny Pickett or one of these other guys that they really like, I do believe if you're in a position to go get one, you have to go get one. Otherwise, you're going to be in the same boat at the end of the year as everybody else. Hey, we maybe had a solid year, but we're not competing for anything because we don't have that guy. And, with the way money is thrown around in a lot of different positions, to be able to draft a guy, you're not tied to them forever. And so I do believe those teams that need a quarterback, if you're in position to get one, you go and get one. If you feel strongly enough about what, they're capable of doing in their, first-round selection, you go get them at 6 and you try to build around them. And if it doesn't work after a couple of years, you got to go find the guy. And that's just, the nature of this beast. We look every year and we say, okay, these 8 teams have a chance to win the Super Bowl. Why? Because they've got a quarterback. That's how I always look at that position.
Sure. And so let me just go a step further then. You said if you're in a position to go get one, you should. What about purposefully placing yourself in that position when you're currently not in that one, like, say, the Saints? Would you, if you got 16 and 19, you just traded back into the first round, for a second pick using next year's draft capital? The Giants are sitting there at 5. If the rest of the league feels the same way that you do about Pickett and Carolina, do you go up into the 5th spot and give the Giants that Godfather offer and go get Kenny Pickett? Do you do that based on your viewing?
Well, and I think that's the next piece of this is how sold are you on these guys to be the next guy? You mentioned the Saints, who obviously have a couple draft picks there to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. I look at Jameis Winston, and I say, no, I'm not. I'm going to build a team around Jameis Winston because I've seen Jameis at this level do a lot of good things. I know. He's got to get out of his own way, and he's got to get better at protecting the football. We all understand that. But what I've seen on tape with Jameis Winston, to me, is better than what I've seen from any of these guys. So I don't do that. I had Jameis, for that partial, what he did last year for, a few games, and I thought he was doing some really, really good things in that time period. That you have a good team and you got those picks. I stay where I'm at if I'm the Saints because I'm not necessarily convinced that the guy I go up and get is better than the guy I have in the building right now. And I think that becomes – you don't want to mortgage a whole bunch of stuff and give away draft picks that can get you some really, really good football players unless you're sold on that QB, being better than what you have.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.